Hello, everyone. Welcome to the PR show. I'm sitting here with my wonderful friend who needs no introduction, is Martina Zerger, who's also pastoring a church in Hamburg with his wonderful husband. And today we are in for a treat because she is going to tell us all about the role of male and female in this world, how God intended it.
I would like to read a quote from Daisy Osborne.
Okay.
You will like it.
Sure.
Now, this is now Daisy Osborne. Satan does not want God's woman. This is on page 91. Yeah, okay. So this is now Daisy Osborne. Satan does not want God's woman. I marvel when I look back. When I came back into my culture after being gone for 35 years with my husband, T.L. Osborne, I did not fit. She's talking about the American culture.
Yes.
I had been gone since I was a teenager, and I returned as a mature woman. In America, I began hearing things that I had never heard before, but it was too late to tell me. Imagine my shock when people began telling me that I should be quiet and that I should submit. I did not know how or when or why, and I did not believe it.
Yep.
In all of it, however, I started a search because I strive to be a godly woman. I prayed, I fasted. The hunger that came out of me was this: I do not want to be an American woman. I do not want to be an African woman. I do not want to be a South American woman. I do not want to be a Chinese woman. I want to be God's woman.
That's right.
He created women. Why? What is her purpose? What is her destiny? That is who I want to be.
Absolutely.
And I mean,
perfectly encompasses my sentiments, of course.
Yeah, this is such a great quote, and maybe for the audience, Daisy and T.L. Osborne, they went to 70 nations or many nations around the world doing mass crusades of evangelism and healing. And Daisy Osborne was the one. She would go to that country in advance before her husband would arrive, and she would arrange everything. She would talk to the governments, to the mayors, to everyone who was needed to talk to arrange this mass crusade, so that when her husband would arrive, everything was set, everything was finished, everything was prepared, and the evangelism could start.
Interesting, because it sounds like a man's job, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, actually.
Very much, especially if you are sent alone as a woman, as a white woman, and it actually matters in some cultures.
Right.
You would assume that people will not take you seriously because of that culture, even more so in those cultures than in ours, where we come.
Yeah.
So interesting. It seems to me that she was doing a man's work.
Yeah, but she was a very strong woman, a very outstanding woman.
Yeah, she had to be.
And she used to say, I saw this kind of a poem put together by Bishop LaDonna Osborne, the daughter of Daisy and T.L. Osborne. It says, but Mama can. And in this kind of poem, there are a list of quotes, what people would say to Daisy Osborne, but you can't do this and this because you're a woman. And then her answer would always be, but I can. Who says that I cannot? When others don't do it, but I can.
Yeah.
So Bishop LaDonna Osborne put all these answers and quotes together to that poem, but Mama can.
Love it.
Very beautiful. So in other words, Daisy Osborne refused to be stopped by tradition, by religion, by by twisted mindsets, by culture, because she has understood her identity in that redemptive plan from God, with that fundamental truth of equality and partnership. Being equal with God means being a partner with God. And since God has given equality between men and women, there is partnership between men and women, talking about being a team in order to team up with God in order to make this world a better place.
So the key is basically knowing who you are and what you were created for.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. 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 It's very, very important to understand that we are not only equal, but as Daisy Osborne said, what is the purpose? What is the destiny? And that's also when we go back and remember, God has Adam put into position to rule, and he said to both, have dominion.
That's right.
So that is the purpose, that is the destiny. We are created, we are designed, we are destined for rulership, not
Absolutely.
over people.
Not over
It
people.
is witchcraft and manipulation.
That's right.
But rulership over the earth,
over creation.
Over creation, in order to bring God's kingdom and to expand God's kingdom here on earth.
I love it. While you were speaking, I just had this thought that if God gave us rulership over creation, rule over it, subdue it, and all, that means creation listens to our voice.
Right.
Voice of authority.
Right. Right. And that is why the Bible says, I put it in my words, you have to say unto salvation. I just heard.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
You have to say
unto you have
salvation.
You have to
yes,
invest.
It is. It's in Romans.
Yes,
with the heart you believe.
Yes.
But with your mouth you
confess.
say. Yeah, with your mouth you confess, and then in the next verse it says, you say unto salvation.
Wow.
And when I came across this verse recently, it was like I saw it in a total different light. And so we say things into the unseen atmosphere.
Yep.
From our position of rulership, we are saying things so that things can be changed. We are saying things until the solution, the salvation, the change is there. Wow. There is a lot of power in our words. Many people don't know it. Many people are not aware of it. And that is because of the position God has given people, male and female, humankind.
I have to make this note.
It's so interesting.
What I put down, creation hearkens unto our voice of authority. Hearken means listen to obey.
Right.
Not just listen, because anybody can listen.
Right.
Devils listen to, but listen to obey, hearkens.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And there is no difference between, so
indeed,
creation hearkens unto our voice. So there's no difference between the voice of a man, correct, the voice of a woman.
Because in Christ there is no, in the spirit world, there is no male or female.
Exactly.
Satan doesn't care, just like Apostle always says that Satan doesn't care whether you're male or female or any kind of status, whatever status you have. in the
Right.
world. As long as you speak like God, he thinks it's God.
Yeah. So I would like, if that is fine for you, Reka, I would like to take the last point. Why is Satan so against women?
Yes, which side, which
I'm just
91?
I'm just still on page 91, sorry.
91. Okay.
And I want just to I don't want to go in.
Okay, I see it. Okay.
And I'm going back to page 89.
Okay.
And it says here a study of enmity. Can you see it?
Yes, I do. Yes.
And I want to touch on that.
Sure.
Because I recently had a conversation between a very nice young Italian man and me. And he told me that he was that it bothered him that women are not treated well. So he observed it.
Yes.
In general. And he was wondering why it bothered him. And so somehow we started talking about this topic. And
in general or in his country?
In general. In general, not only in Italy. He's living in Germany right now. Okay. So in general. So, and he asked me, do you know why this is the case, that women are treated the way they are treated in many situations and places? And I said, yes, because women are the seed carrier. So Eve, God told Satan in Genesis 3:15, let me read the whole. God is talking to the serpent. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. So now these, and then it is it shall bruise your head and you shall bruise his heel. Now God is talking here about enmity between Satan and the women. Satan and the woman, which goes the women in general. And I explained to this young man, I told him a little bit the story of what happened, and that it is a spiritual matter. It has a spiritual origin. It has nothing to do with natural circumstances. The natural circumstances reflect and show what is in the spirit.
Absolutely.
From the origin. And I explained to him that there is enmity between Satan and the women. And he said to him, that makes so much sense. He still has questions, but that really gave him light. And that is why I would love to shortly touch on that.
Yes, please do.
Because people around the world are asking, why are the women treated the way they are treated? What is the reason for it? And yes, there is society. Yes, there is culture. Yes, there is tradition. Yes, there is religion. But the origin is a spiritual matter.
That's right.
God has put enmity between Satan and the woman. So, and that means when we use the word enmity, in other words, saying this in Genesis 3:15, God declared war.
Wow, okay.
This is a strong,
very
version, but this is what enmity is.
Yes.
Enmity is not sitting there silent and having some odds against another person. Enmity is, let me read this. Enmity is an increasing state or feeling of hostility, hatred, animosity, and antagonism. Enmity is a feeling of hostility. So this is, God declared war between Satan and the woman. Now, think about this. When he declared war between Satan's seed and the woman and her seed, and this war continues until today, that means he trusted the woman with a strength. He trusted the woman that she would be able to fight this war.
Yeah, I have no problem believing that, yes.
And remember, we talked earlier about that, why God created Eve. And he created her to be the strong person, to be the strong one in order to help Adam coming back on track.
Yeah.
So when God declared the war, when God said, well, there will be enmity, so he knew that he has put a strength into women,
yes,
that they should bear the war, even when there would be a lot of sighing and a lot of grieving. He knew.
Not for the man, but after what she has lost. Just to reiterate that, because people need to remember what we said in the beginning. It's not after man.
Right, right. So, and I want to touch it. Now there is God did a prophecy here when he's saying that to the serpent in Genesis 3:15. Now, but prophecies need to be carried out by a human vessel.
Correct.
And he chose the women to carry it out. So we are talking here about a privilege.
Yeah, oh, yeah, indeed.
Yes, but it has to be said.
Oh, yes, it has to be. I love you. Yes, it has to be said.
For you, it's clear. But I know a lot of women who don't see or feel it as a privilege or honor.
More like a burden.
They feel it like a burden, yes, and they feel inferior. So, but it is a privilege. It is an honor. So and that's why I said the woman became God's ally. She became his special force partner in this war, in this enmity, in this animosity and antagonism. It's something to think about. And I want to touch on that because this whole twisted thing, equality between men and women, the whole unhealthy treatment of women everywhere, putting it in these words. Let us remember that the source of all this unrighteousness, of all this unhealthiness, of all this twisted truth, it is a spiritual source. I want to say that people are not your enemy. People are not your enemy, even when people treat you wrong. But people are not your enemy. The enemy is somebody else.
That's right.
And in this, what women have to endure a lot.
Yes.
So, and in all of that, as I said, let's again and again go back to the redemption original purpose God had. So, and remember God's original purpose, and remember that Satan is the enemy. It is not people.
Absolutely.
And that is very important to have that in mind, because if you make people your enemy, your heart will be hardened.
And also, if you make people your enemy, Satan wins.
Right.
Because he wants to divide and conquer.
Yeah, because when we make people our enemy, he can hide.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but I'm wanting to say that when we look at the true origin, and that Satan and that God put the enmity between Satan and woman, so it's a spiritual subject here. We keep our focus right.
Yes, correct.
And we keep then our priorities right, and that helps to protect our heart and
Absolutely.
to keep our heart soft in spite of difficult circumstances, and I'm sure many times horrible and unbearable circumstances.
While you were speaking, I was reminded how important focus is, of course. We were ministering in a different continent, in a certain city, in a certain region. And it's usually, we travel with a big team, and we had a big team with us at the time. And usually everybody loves everybody. I mean, you understand. I mean, that love is our hallmark within the team, and also out of that flows love, because you cannot give what you don't have. So even within the team, we always had love, always. We never had this problem. But this particular time, and we spent, I think, maybe like 2 weeks there, or just seems, it's hard to tell now, but it was a couple of years ago. But for the first time, I began to see fractures within the team, which we never experienced before. People, like little small misunderstandings, but they just seem to be blowing up. And this person had all of a sudden a problem with that, and the other person didn't understand, and then the other person was resentful. Not just two, but it just seems to be a lot of people within, themselves. I don't even know, like we had like maybe like 20 people at least. It's a lot of opportunity for fractures, but we never had problem before that. So we were like, I was like, what? And everyone was running to me to fix things, of course, being the director of the international director of the ministry. So while I was putting out the fires over here, another fire started over there. I was putting, out the fire, making, leveling the ground and making people, being peaceful and working out the problem. Another thing over there. So it seemed like I was running around putting out fires within the team, and I was supposed to be running the whole show. So it's like my time was completely, and my attention was completely broken, and my focus. So eventually I went to Apostle. I said, well, I don't know what's going on. This. And he said, number one, don't engage within people's, because they do want to draw you in, much like children that way, But also he says, don't you see? And I remember this sentence so well, because it was just so immediately brought my focus back to what's important and what is not, and what's going on in the spirit world. He goes, don't you see that this is the dividing spirit, is the spirit over this region, which is what is trying to filter into our team. And the moment he said that, it was so clear to me. Yes, that's what it is. And I knew how to handle it immediately. And then, the moment the enemy was unmasked, and exposed, he lost his power.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to know what you are up against. It's not people, just as you said, it's the spirits behind that particular situation. And this is a big situation that we are tackling right now, so no wonder. So please carry on.
Yeah, so you can put it in this sentence. God is the unifier and Satan is the divider.
Yes, always.
Always. So when Adam started drifting away, he tried to unify him again with him. This is what love does. This is what love wants, the togetherness putting it this way. I
Yes.
like this word, togetherness. There is a togetherness. But Satan wants to divide and put people into loneliness and isolation and in a weak place. But in the togetherness with God, we are in the strong place, so to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so this was what I had on my mind. Is there anything left, Reka, with you?
Let me see.
What you would like to talk about?
I think on 91, page 91, the summary might be worth reading, just because it needs to be said, you know.
The summary
The summary, it says, Satan has several reasons for being especially against women.
Right. Yes.
I
I
think
need to look up quickly what is how do you spell that?
progenitor.
Progenitor. Okay, thank you. I need to quickly look it up because I don't know that word.
Yeah, I don't either. Just come to think of it.
Progenitor. It is the gosh, what is take this one here.
Ancestor.
Yes.
Forebear, grandsire. Oh, okay. Ancestor. Okay. Yeah, ancestor.
Ancestor is a better known word, right?
I think so, yeah.
Ancestor. Thank you, Reka.
Sure.
And what does it mean? Satan tries to warp. What is to warp? Wait. This word I don't know either. To twist, to deform.
Twist out of shape, typically as a result of effect of heat or dampness. It has several.
Verformen, verziehen. Well, it doesn't help you when I use the German words.
You can use warp. I'm sure people speak English out there.
Yeah,
as long as you understand.
I would use twist and deform. Do you have another suggestion for?
Twist or distortion.
Distortion is also
in the shape or form of something. That's pretty much what you said.
What was after distortion?
Twist or distort in the shape or form of something.
In shape or form, yeah.
Twist, bend, distort, deform.
Bend, yes. This is what I was looking for.
Malform, curve, make crooked. Crooked, yeah.
Crooked, curve, yeah.
Contort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Twist would be probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Just because I think it needs to be pronounced. Beginning with, Satan has several reasons for being especially against women, because really we have just discussed that he is especially against women, and we have covered a lot of things. But if you maybe just line by line, you can just even read it and put your thoughts in there.
I'm just sorry, Reka. I just was in B. She became God's ally, and I was looking for another word.
Ally.
Ally is you are in covenant with somebody for a special purpose.
Yeah.
And I just, I mean, Reka, just think about it. God went in covenant with Eve for this special purpose to fight Satan.
Wow.
Imagine that. Because this is what ally means. I just saw
That's
it
what it means, yeah.
Being a covenant partner.
You know what the immediate response or question of the male audience will be? So does that mean that God is not in covenant with man?
Of course.
No, I'm serious. So how would you respond to that? So I know it just, so I mean, it seems like the more we talk, the more questions it opens up, which is a good thing because it makes people
It
think.
will. Do you
But
say?
what my passion is that women would realize who are they up against and why.
Yeah, it is. I mean, listening to the lessons, or just give me a moment.
Sure.
My husband is now in just letting him know that I'm still in the Zoom. He's now flying back from Litauen to Warsaw. So, okay. Okay. Wait a minute. And Gabriela just wrote me that she is stuck in Italy.
Oh, okay.
She did not get her plane back because there was an accident on the highway.
Oh, okay.
So she couldn't make it in time to the airport.
Oh, that's not a good thing.
She needs to stay another night in Italy.
She needs to suffer. That's what it is.
So, okay,
another night in Italy. Is she on
needs
vacation?
to, she was near Ancona.
Okay. Is she on vacation?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was her holiday week.
That's
okay,
really
but now back to ally. Because when we want to talk about these three topics, which I find really good, so she became his. Well, what we can say, Reka, is ally is, as my dictionary shows me here, it is a political word. So
yes, it is.
Became a covenant partner in a political sense, so to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that takes the wind out of the sails when men want to say, well, aren't we covenant partners as well? For this political or certain purpose, she became his special force. I want to look it up where she said it. I wanted to mark it before we would have our Zoom meeting. She is listing the here on page 94. Believing women, it's here comments on women. Comments on women as God's special ally.
Yes,
it is first, woman has responsibility, and then second, believing women together with believing men as God's special forces. So, yeah. So we can use that also instead
Absolutely.
of a lie. God's special force. Okay. Good. So, okay, how do we want to start this now?
Well, maybe we can capsulize, we can summarize why Satan hates women especially so much. Why is everything against women? Just even if you just go through those lines that that she already stated, it would be helpful just to kind of recap or here.
Yeah, okay. Do we want to do it that you are asking that question again?
Okay, so why does Satan hate women so much? Why? It's because it seems to me that we have covered, this way or that way from Genesis, in fact, that there are reasons, several reasons that is behind Satan's special attention on women and special attention in destroying women. So why is that? If you can perhaps list it.
Yeah. So yes, I can do. But before I list it, I want to just mention that, because I want to just say it.
Sure.
Satan's opposition. It's good that things are said.
Absolutely, we are here to say things.
Because it could help women just to see it clear. Satan's opposition against women. So we have made it clear, coming from Genesis 3:15, that God is putting enmity between Satan and the woman. Now, Satan's opposition, how does that look like? So Satan's opposition, especially against women, and there are 4 areas, and I just want to read them. It is this, his opposition is obvious in these 4 areas: in spirit, in attitude, in feeling, and in character. So he is in opposition. He is targeting women in these 4 areas. So what is meant with attitude? He is going against the self-esteem. He is going against the confidence.
Yeah.
He's going against the strength. He tries to go against their feelings, to hurt her in a way that she gets weakened. So he tries to attack the spirit. He tries to be in opposition to her character. So when a woman has a strong, upright character, he tries to attack all that.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to just shortly touch on that, so that sometimes it might help to know, well, these 4 areas I have to have my eyes on. And I have to be aware that in these 4 areas, Satan tries to be in opposition to me. So when I know it, I can stop it.
Very true.
So, but you were asking why? Why is Satan against women, right?
Correct. Yeah. If we can summarize it.
Yes, if we can. Yeah. So, well, as we said, God put the enmity between Satan and her. But there are 3 reasons, or 4 reasons. She was, Eve, when Adam had the conversation with Adam first and then Eve, asking, what has happened? What have you done? So she said, I got deceived. So she what is the English word? She made it clear. she shed the light on that Satan was the originator.
That's right.
And in other words, she named Satan as the accuser.
Mm-hmm.
She nailed the truth in saying, well, he was the one who deceived me.
Yeah.
So, and Satan never likes to operate in the light.
That's right.
He
He doesn't like to be exposed.
Right. Thank you. I was looking for that word. Thank you.
I thought
Yes.
so. I'm a mind reader at the same time. One
So
of my many gifts.
thank you. Satan does not like to be exposed. He likes to work in hidden and in darkness. And she exposed him. And that really, he didn't like that. And the second reason, Eve became God's special partner, is for a special force, because from Eve's seeds, redemption would come for the whole human family, for humankind. So God partnered with Eve for this purpose. And actually, he took her as for this purpose, like as a covenant partner, as a special military force in order to carry out this purpose, that from her seed, one day, the Redeemer, Jesus Christ, would come and save humankind. So there is a high priority, high target, and God chose the woman to be his special partner for this special task and purpose.
So would you say that we are God's ally?
Yeah, we could say that God chose the women to become God's ally,
against Satan. Against Satan.
Against Satan. It doesn't mean that men are left outside, but for this specific task, he chose the woman to cooperate with. Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. So what else are we good for? Apart from washing dishes, mending the socks, and bearing children.
Well, I mean, it's always very rewarding to dig deep and to drill deep into the scripture. Then you pull out the gold, isn't it?
Indeed. Yeah.
Then you pull out the nuggets.
Very true.
Now, Eve became the ancestor of Jesus Christ. When God said, from your seed will spring forth the Redeemer, from your seed will come forth the one who will redeem humankind. She became the ancestor of Jesus Christ, and she became, therefore, the ancestor of all believers.
Absolutely. Wow, I never thought of that. Of believers as well. You're right. You're right.
And that is the reason why Adam named her Eve. That's the reason, because she became the mother of all living.
Of all living.
So, and the believers are the one who live.
That's right.
Who are living the true life.
Very true.
And that's why Adam named her Eve, because of that. So Eve became the ancestor.
It's almost like Adam prophesied.
Well, Adam saw it.
Did he see it? Really?
When God has had his conversation, well, this is my words. I never read it in the Bible, but when God had his conversation with Eve and making this prophecy, for me, it looks like it became clear to Adam. Putting it this way is better.
I think it's likely, yes, because I'm sure God asked him what. Just the very fact that Adam had the privilege to name the woman.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah.
God must have had to explain it to him what the woman was created for. And so Adam came up with the name, okay, and her name is Eve, which was a great privilege that he had the chance to name his partner.
Yes, very good point. Yes, it was his role to name the creation. Yeah,
Yes.
and he named her. Yeah, very good point, Reka. Yeah. And therefore, because Adam is God's special force partner, Eve is God's special force partner, and because Eve is the ancestor of all true believers, and because Eve exposed Satan, that's why Satan does not want women to be what God wants them to be. And
In
so,
other words, he is afraid of us.
good point. Good point.
Because we see things, we see him for who he is. It's usually the inside of a woman that is famous, not so much the inside of the man, isn't it?
Yeah, many times, yes, women see things
Clearer.
quicker, clearer. Yes. So, and we can say Satan tries to deform or to bend or to distort women.
Yes.
He tries to embody soul and spirit. So he tries everything, as I said before, in these 4 areas. He really tries to attack, to weaken, to deteriorate, to distort, to bend, to curve. So to twist and to deform. I'm not talking about bodily shape. I'm talking about mind, soul, character,
But that's
spirit.
when it starts, isn't it? Usually, that's
Yes.
when it starts. If you don't think the right way, soon it will show on the outside.
Yeah, exactly. Because in a war, as we said, when God declared this prophecy, I will put enmity between you and Satan and the woman. God was declaring a war, and in a war, you try to finish your enemy in all ways possible. You try to what is the English word? You try to eliminate him.
Eliminate, of course.
You try to weaken him.
Yeah.
So, in other words, putting it in one sentence, Satan tries to eliminate women, to weaken women, to get women out of the way in every way possible.
True.
So, and again, Satan is the real enemy, not people.
That's good to point out. That's good to point out. So, is there anything else you want to add to this session, or are we good?
I think we are good. I think we covered.
I want to cap it with this one for the folks out there. So, if you are a woman, you're watching this show, it is not by accident that you're watching this show. So, what we're conveying here to you, if you ever feel, I don't know, threatened, distorted, animosity against you, your whole being, just the way you are, nothing seems to be working, and people seem to look at you less than you are, there's nothing wrong with you. I want to say there's nothing wrong with you. It's not you, it's the enemy. It's the enemy of your soul. That's what the Bible says. It's the enemy who's trying to disfigure you, who's trying to take away your identity, who's trying to distort your destiny. Don't let it, and don't ever take it on yourself. Next time, and it will be shortly coming soon, next time we will teach you what to do against it, what to do against it on a daily basis, how to fight against it, not in an evil way, not in a harassing way or in a animosity way, but in a smart way. You don't have to take on fights that don't belong to you. But if somebody comes against you just because you are a woman, and you can sense it in everybody who's out there, a woman, sensed it at one way or another, that's not you. That's not against you. That's not you. You have done nothing wrong. You are just yourself, the way you were created. That's when Satan tries to come against you the most. So stay tuned, and we will be back shortly. God bless you. Good. I'm happy because I really want to bring awareness to this, you know.
Yeah.
Because I know many people out there thinking, oh, you know what, I must have done something wrong. Let me try to change myself, you know, to fit into the little box that I'm still allowed to have. And then soon enough, that box will not be big enough. You have to go into a smaller one. Now you're not allowed to do this. Now you're not allowed to do that. So it just never ends. Basically, just like what the writing says of Daisy Osborne, that basically what Satan wants he wants you to disappear. He wants you to disappear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's all, I really believe this is because he fears of us the most.
Yeah. 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 Because of the destiny and purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good to take a good look at from Genesis all the way to today's to see how we went wrong, where we went wrong, and how to fix it. So next time we have to discuss how we're going to fix it. We are going to change the world.